Make all of your skeletons appear. This is real life.
What's up, guys? It's the girl Charlie Quinn here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Charlene. My nickname is Charles, but you could call me Charlie Quinn. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This video will probably be up during the last week of Christmas, but today is Christmas, so therefore Merry Christmas. Deal with it. I hope you guys had a great holiday, or if things went blue or went downhill, I hope you did stuff and do and can do stuff that helps you just calm down and your mind at ease. In the spirit of Christmas, I came across this video. It's called 4 Scary Real Christmas Horror Stories, and we'll be reacting to them. Based on the title, I'm gonna assume that they're real stories that happen at Christmas. But before we go and watch and react, I want you guys to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload, and I'm changing it a tiny little bit. I will be uploading every 1 to 2 weeks depending on what midlife crisis I have going on, because there's a lot going on in December. My New Year's resolution, BTW, is to get up to 2K subscribers, 2,000 subscribers by the time February comes. So let's see what happens. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and grab our bowl of popcorn, our soda, which is up there, and let's listen to some Christmas horror stories that happened in real time, 2023. Story 1 by Mindy.
I'm a single mother of my 8-year-old boy Mark. When this happened, he was 5 and I was 27. I have my own house that was passed down to me from my grandparents.
Wait, so we're just watching images? I'm gonna have to really pay attention to the sound. Okay, so far, 20 seconds in, it's a mother with a, at that time, 5-year-old child who got a house passed down to her. Okay.
It's in the quiet side of town with a lot of older people, and I still live here with Mark today. It was Christmas time, and I was out with Mark shopping. I was doing my Christmas shopping for my family.
Wait, who's Mark? Hold on. That's the child. Okay, so I'm guessing Mindy is the mother.
Mark and I went to the mall, including a few clothing stores and a hardware store where I bought a gift for my dad. After all the shopping was done, I took Mark to McDonald's to get him some burgers and ice cream. Afterwards, we left the mall through the south exit, and here we bumped into a mall Santa standing outside. He waved at us and said the usual Santa stuff. He then knelt down to get to Mark's level and asked him what he wanted for Christmas. Mark led my hand closer to the Santa, and I allowed it because he seemed like a normal, nice mall Santa. Mark said he wanted—
No. Listen, I know when you want, you know, it's Christmas, holidays, and you want to have your kids see Santa, but if they gotta be inside the mall, alright? That's the number one. The red flag number one, they're not inside the mall. If it's a actual employer dressed as Santa, and they have to be in the mall. If my kid sees a Santa outside the mall, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
a Nintendo Switch, which ironically was what I was planning on buying him for Christmas. The Santa laughed and said, "If you're good, maybe you'll get it," while looking up at me and winking. I smiled, and then he stood up and started complimenting me.
Whoa,
saying to Mark,
whoa,
"Your
whoa.
mother's a looker, Mark, you know that?"
Not
And Mark
Santa
laughed,
being a
even though
perv.
He didn't know what that meant.
Not
I still
Santa being a
smiled.
perv.
Then we had a couple minutes worth of seemingly friendly adult conversation about the holiday mayhem and such. The guy said he worked for the mall. I regrettably mentioned the stress of being a single mom during Christmas is unfathomable. And then I made a joke about needing Santa's help. Then the Santa made what I thought was an innocent joke.
If you're working for the mall, what are you doing outside? It's a mall. If you're gonna go on break, go somewhere in the mall.
Saying, "Mark, have you ever heard the song 'I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus'?" And Mark shook his head yes. Then he leaned in towards me with his cheek, implying he wanted me to kiss his cheek. I was gonna give him an innocent little peck on the fake beard, but as I leaned in, he turned his head and tried doing that old trick where he kisses you on the lips instead.
Oh.
I moved away past the back exit of the mall. I noticed he wasn't there in front of the entrance anymore. I wish I took that into consideration as to what may have happened next. We got home, and after bringing everything inside, I locked the door, and Mark and I started to watch a Christmas movie. Our wholesome time together was then interrupted. My doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, and it was late for any kind of door-to-door people. I told Mark to keep watching as I went to go answer the door. I said, "Who is it?" through the door, and a man's voice on the other side said, "It's Santa." My heart dropped. It wasn't until the next day when I was leaving the house that I found the note taped to my front door. It was typed out and printed. This is a picture of the note, and it said, "I'll just be blunt. I'm sure you can guess who this is. I didn't mean to scare you the other night. I just had a long shift, and when a pretty lady talks to you after pretending to be Santa for 6 hours, hormones kind of go crazy. You and your son are the cutest things ever, and I'd love to one day be a part of your family.
Whoa.
You can't pretend you didn't feel the connection when we spoke the other night.
What
I
connection?
already know where you live. Now I just need your number. Feel free to shoot me a text whenever, and maybe we can plan something
Didn't you
one day."
call her house though?
Sorry, I know this may seem creepy or a bit much.
So you
but I'm
know
the
her
kind of guy where
number.
if I see something I like, I go after it. Anyway, happy holidays if we don't speak soon. Here's my number. Best, Ted. I wanted to
Ted.
crumple this up, but I took a picture of it, called the police again, and gave this to them. Since it had his number on it, the police could work with that. They said I'd be hearing from someone when action was taken, and that following Monday, I got a call from, I assume, a detective telling me that the man would not be contacting me anymore, and if he did, to let him know. I never heard from that creep again.
That's crazy. Oh my god. Ho ho ho.
Oh, no.
Crazy?
No!
I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room of rats.
So I saw like these TikTok videos of why Santa considers a perv, basically. What he does is creepy. So I mean, in a way, this Santa imposter was living up to that thing, that image. That's crazy though. Like, second, I hope she got like some security cameras after that happened. And third of all, this is why you don't trust Santa Claus outside of the mall. Like, you have to, like, if they're in the mall, you know they're real people. Okay? Like, that was a lot. That was Alright, story number 2. I don't like the heartbeat. No. You know, the sound
This is a
effects scare
short
me
but
more than
scarring
actual
story nonetheless from my early childhood. I grew up in an average middle-class home in the suburbs. My sister and I were
this
huge
is his
fans
story.
of Christmas as
YouTuber
kids.
story.
I had to be like 6 years old when this happened, because we had just moved to our new house. This is one of my earliest memories in life that I remember vividly just because of the gravity of it. On Christmas Eve, I would always have trouble sleeping, even as a young kid. I snuck to the
Understandable.
upstairs bathroom, and when I was done, I was quietly going back to
Wait,
my
did
room
he say Santa?
when I heard the sound of the tree rustling around downstairs. My first instinct was to think, Santa. I started tiptoeing down the stairs until I got to the bottom.
My dream was the Grinch. He's the main one.
Bottom
Mr.
wall of the
Grinch.
stairway
As charming as an eel, Mr. Gray.
into the living room. There were no lights on, except for someone holding a flashlight. I could see only the person's legs as they were bent over behind the tree. There was a black bag on the floor, and this random adult man came out from behind the tree and looked at me. He looked at me and put his pointer finger up to his mouth, and he made a shushing motion with his lips. He whispered, "Yes, I'm Santa."
But he wasn't
I
wearing
was
the
old
Santa
enough and smart enough
outfit?
to know that wasn't what the Santa I grew up knowing looked like. I started screaming for my mom and dad as loud as I could. I remember the man started freaking out, deciding whether or not to take the bag he filled with our gifts, and he ended up running away to the front door. Half the ornaments on the tree were taken off and in the bag. What kind of sick, evil person steals people's sentimental Christmas ornaments?
Homeless person?
According to my dad, the method in which the man broke in was the back door, which it appeared he yanked open with a crowbar due to the chipped wood. A house a few blocks away had also fallen victim to this, and it was on the news. It was most definitely the same guy.
Damn, that's crazy. No, okay.
Oh, no.
Crazy?
No!
I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room of rats.
Alright, so story number 1, we have a crazy Santa imposter stalker wanted to join a family. Story number 2, we got a break-in. Like, at least put the I'm sorry, but like, you know what? If you're gonna steal presents, at least put on the Grinch costume.
As charming as an eel, Mr. Gray.
We know all of our neighbors, both our next door neighbors and the 3 closest neighbors across the street. Everyone is friendly enough, but you truly never know the skeletons hidden in someone's closet. Our neighbor Paul to the right always seemed nice the few times we'd speak.
Oh, so it's a
but
neighbor.
he never really spoke
type
too
of
much.
story.
I'd see him outside almost every day, either coming or leaving for, I'm assuming, work, though I never knew what he did for a living. At this time, I hadn't seen the guy in a few days, and his car hadn't moved from his driveway. Obviously, that in of itself isn't any cause for alarm. All of the neighbors, including Paul, had their lights up already. I found it interesting how Paul, a single man in his 40s, would put lights up. Noticed Paul's Christmas lights out of nowhere started flickering like crazy. All of them, not just one strip of lights. It looked like it could have just been faulty wiring or some electrical glitch. Then when I got back from work, the blinds were all closed, but his Christmas lights were on, so he was definitely home. I joked with my fiancé that he must have been on some kind of hibernation. Later that night, my fiancé came inside and told me of Paul's Christmas lights acting up. I went outside and it was the exact same thing that was happening the night before. The flickering wasn't happening in a way that would appear that he programmed it that way. It was happening in a very spastic, glitchy sort of way. So I figured I'd be nice and go let him know, and also see if he's okay since I hadn't seen him. I knocked on the door, and when there was no answer, I rang. All the blinds were closed and I couldn't tell if the lights were on or not. When there was no answer, I rang one more time. Finally, the door opened, and Paul greeted me. I let him know about his flickering lights, which I just noticed weren't flickering anymore. I promised him I wasn't making it up. He said he wasn't aware of that and thanked me. I asked if he was alright, as I hadn't seen him in a while. He said he was just feeling under the weather. He was acting a bit off. Then I heard something from inside the house. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but it sounded like a child screaming for help.
No, that's a concern. I thought something happened to Paul.
I was about to ask him, did you hear that? But on the spot, I decided not to. The police arrived and entered his house on exigency, and when I heard what they found, I was appalled. There was a young boy locked in the basement. He had been locked down there for 4 days. The boy had been kidnapped from a completely different town. As far as the flickering lights, the boy was a genius and somehow found a way from the basement to flicker the Christmas lights as an attempt to call for help and get someone's attention outside. Probably whenever he saw someone through one of the blocked off basement windows. I reckon he saw his chance to call for help when someone...
That kid was like, you know what, I prepared for this my entire life. I play survival games, I got you.
But I hope he lives a normal life and has put this behind him.
No, that kid is traumatized. Story number 4, The Final Story by Anthony Altobello. I don't know, pronounce your last name, and I am sorry if I spelled it.
My girlfriend Jenny came over to spend the weekend with me. It was the middle of December, and Christmas festivities were in full swing. Liquor store down the block to get more. It would only take 10 minutes anyway. It was a Saturday night, so they were open later. The usual cashier was working, and I got stuck in a conversation with him like I always do whenever I go there. Mid-conversation with him, I felt my phone vibrating in my pocket. I checked my phone to see it was Jenny. I interrupted the cashier, saying 1 sec, and I picked up. Jenny sounded scared, saying she keeps hearing noises from below the living room. That would mean the crawl space. I told her it's fine, there's nothing down there. She asked what if there's an animal down there. I told her that's not possible, as there's no openings from anywhere outside. I opened the wine bottle, and we continued to watch the movie. Below us, from the crawl space, I looked at Jenny and she looked at me. She was right, there was something down there. I said, oh shit, there might actually be an animal down there.
Why do you have a
Once
crawl
again,
space
we paused the
in
movie,
the first
and
place?
I went to the closet with the attic door inside. I grabbed the flashlight on the ledge and went down into the crawl space.
Not the photo of the basement,
I stayed by the
bro.
crawl space door and just did a quick scan of the place. It smelled like piss in there, which pretty much confirmed that there was something down there. I'm not an exterminator or pest control,
When people say crawl
so there
space,
was
do they
nothing I
actually
could do
mean
about it.
basement?
I was climbing back up the stairs. I heard something from across the crawl space. I don't know what it was, but something moved. I got scared that some animal was gonna run at me, so I hurried up the stairs and shut the door. There wasn't much else we could do now,
I don't
except
care,
just
we're
go
out
back
there.
to the living room, went to my room, and eventually went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night having to pee really badly and with a throbbing headache. I got up and opened my bedroom door and looked down into the dark hallway. At the end of the hallway, I saw a person's silhouette.
Nah,
But instead, I closed the door quietly and locked it. I heard footsteps coming down the hallway, and then the doorknob turned, and someone tried opening the door. And then a deep, hoarse-sounding voice on the other side said, "Hello?" That was when Jenny started to scream. She had been woken up by my getting up, and she heard the voice too. I would have tried to calm her down, but I was scared shitless myself. I did hear footsteps walk away from the door, and so I called 911. Waiting for the cops felt like a millennium. All I know is when the cops got here, there was no one else in this house. Whoever it was left. The smell of piss in the crawl space wasn't my imagination. There was literally a puddle of that person's piss on the ground. which is pretty disturbing because that would suggest that he had been down there for a while. While it was likely a homeless squatter, that didn't make it any less horrifying. My family didn't even believe it at first. I've never forgotten to lock the door ever again.
All these are, I feel like that one was the most creepiest. Story number 1 was pervy vibes. Stories number 2 and 3, traumatizing for the least, for the kids. And then story number 4 was just like, okay, babe, we're never staying alone in the house anymore. We're gonna go to my house this time. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know what you think about these stories in the comments section below. But let's do something different. If you have any creepy stories you'd like to share or you want me to share on my channel, go ahead, comment below or just DM me. My links to my social media will be in the description box, my Instagram, my TikTok. So just go ahead, follow me and DM me, and or I will just read Reddit stories. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the holidays before 2024 comes up. I love you all and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload the next video. Go ahead, follow my Twitch. I want to be starting to game on that instead of uploading on my channel. So if you want to see me game Dead by Daylight or Fortnite, it will be in the description box below. My Twitch, go ahead and follow that. Please give me a big thumbs up in the face if you loved Christmas this year, you love some presents that you got, or you just had a chill time, or like me, have a midlife crisis. See you guys in the next one. Bye.